This is how a smaller army trapped and destroyed the largest force Rome ever fielded in a single afternoon. It is still taught at military academies as the perfect battle of annihilation. 216 BC. In 2 years, Hannibal had already crushed Roman armies at the Trebia and at Lake Trasimene. Furious, the Senate authorized an unprecedented force, 8 legions with allied troops, close to 80,000 men, the largest army Rome had ever assembled. They marched south into Apulia, where Hannibal's much smaller force, roughly 50,000 men, had made camp on an open plain beside the Aufidus river, near a small grain depot the Romans called Cannae. Hannibal's army was not Carthaginian in any single sense. It was a coalition of Gauls, Spaniards, and Numidian cavalry, bound together by hardened African veterans who had served with him since Spain. Roman command rotated daily between 2 consuls. Paullus argued for patience. Varro wanted to attack. On his day of command, Varro gave the order to fight.
It is too risky. The intelligence is flawed.
The Romans crowded their infantry into a deep, narrow column, built to punch through the enemy center by sheer numbers. Opposite them, Hannibal arranged his own line differently. Weaker troops forward in the middle, his hardened veterans held back on both flanks. The center Hannibal placed there, Gauls and Spanish infantry, was not expected to win. That was deliberate. He needed them to bend backward slowly under pressure, never breaking, drawing the Roman formation deeper into the curve. The legions surged forward and drove into that center exactly as Hannibal intended, pushing the Gallic and Spanish lines steadily backward. On both flanks, Hannibal's cavalry broke through the Roman horsemen guarding each wing. They swept past the Roman flanks and rode hard for the rear. At the same moment, Hannibal's veteran infantry on both flanks stepped inward, and the circle around the Roman army closed. Packed shoulder to shoulder with no room to swing a sword and no direction left to retreat, most Roman soldiers never got the chance to fight back. What followed for hours was not a battle. It was a slaughter. Ancient historians put Roman losses at 50 to 70,000 men in a single day, among the deadliest in the history of warfare. Consul Paullus died on the field, along with, by some counts, 80 Roman senators. News of the disaster reached Rome as pure panic. In a rare and drastic measure, the Senate ordered 2 Gauls and 2 Greeks buried alive in the city's cattle market, a ritual act meant to avert catastrophe. One of the only recorded instances of human sacrifice in Roman history. Varro survived and rode back to Rome. Remarkably, the Senate met him at the gates and thanked him publicly, simply for not despairing of the Republic after such a defeat. Rome refused to negotiate. Under the dictator Fabius Maximus, it avoided open battles with Hannibal for years, rebuilding its strength instead, and went on to defeat Carthage at Zama, ending the war Hannibal could never quite finish. Cannae's shadow stretched far beyond antiquity. Centuries later, German military planners, including Alfred von Schlieffen, studied it as the model for what they called a cauldron battle. Encircle the enemy completely and destroy them from every side at once. 2,000 years on, Cannae remains one of history's most complete tactical victories and one of its single bloodiest days.